Hello everyone and welcome to my first ever games room tour. Just before COVID-19 started, I made the decision that I was going to try and collect every single Mega Drive game, and that's where it all started. And then COVID-19 hit, we started working from home more often, gave me more time to spend searching for games, etc, etc. Also during that time we had to move from our current property, which gave us the opportunity to look for somewhere else and find somewhere that had more room that could sort of grow my collection into, which is where I'm standing now. But as you can see from the camera roll so far, and I'll start panning around into shortly, it is a little room. It's a little bit boxy and stuff, but at the level that I'm at now, obviously it's more than enough for the moment, but that will soon change. So right now, I'll just quickly pan around so you can just see how it's looking at the moment, and then I'll start going through and talking through what I currently have and what's going to go from there. There are a few things in here that aren't games related. As you can see, there's a set of drawers for clothes and things because there's not quite enough room everywhere else, but at some point, once I get even more stuff, I will probably get another Billy bookcase like these or something and put it in here or whatever. I shall see. And then obviously I've still got some of my Match Attack stuff in here, which won't always be in here. There's there, and then there's a few cards on the table here as well. So those will all go eventually. So yeah, so not much room to move around in here. I've got my gaming chair in the middle. That gets me all set up. That if I go and sit into now, I've managed to get an old style TV stand. This actually was in the house when we arrived. The landlady was apologetic that it was here, wanted to throw it away. My girlfriend was ready to throw it away, she hated it, but I thought no, keep it, take it upstairs and I can use it in my games room, and here it is. So on here I've got a Mega Drive 2 with Golden Axe in, which I was playing yesterday, and I've got a Super Nintendo on the bottom, as you can see is pretty beaten up, but that is the original Super Nintendo that I had as a child. So that, along with a few other things, is what I managed to have growing up. Unfortunately, when I was a child, I couldn't really afford that much, so I didn't manage to accumulate at that point in time many games. I used to, when I had the Mega Drive, because I started off with a Mega Drive, I used to rent games from the local library, bring them home on a Friday, play them on the weekend, and then take them back. So I never really managed to accumulate any games. Similarly for the Super Nintendo, obviously they were pretty expensive at the time. There are a couple of games, and you'll see them once I get to them within the room, that I did manage to buy, but again, a similar story there. I used to just rent them. One memory that I do have growing up was, it may have been before I got my own Super Nintendo as well, I think, or maybe it's while I had a Super Nintendo as well. My sister ordered Super Mario World brand new as a gift for her boyfriend at the time, who's now my brother-in-law. They've been together for, I don't know, 30 years or whatever the length of time is. And when it arrived at home, I don't know why, well, I know why, but I'm surprised that I did. I ended up opening it up, playing it, and yeah, she wasn't best pleased because obviously it was a gift from my brother-in-law at the time, but anyway, he still got it. So there you go. So that's the setup so far. I've got the Mega Drive, the Super Nintendo. Unfortunately, I can't play the Super Nintendo at the moment because for some reasons I don't have the original RF cable with it, and the ones that I've got spare don't seem to be working, so I'll have to get a specific one for the Super Nintendo. I also bought this 14-inch DVD combination drive Bosch TV to be able to play these on. Now, unfortunately, I did damage it getting it out of the box. It didn't come like that. I bought it from eBay, and you know it is in reasonable condition, but I managed. It was so well packed for me to get it out of the box. I ended up cracking the front of it. The one downside of this is it hasn't come with a remote control, where I didn't think that would be much of a problem, but unfortunately I can't get it into AV mode, so I can't use the SCART socket that's on the back. So the PS2 that I've set up there and bought, I can't play, and also I can't use the SCART of the Mega Drive, so I'm having to use the RF cable in the back. And also the RGB on the front isn't working either, because I need to get into AV for that, or so I believe. So I've ordered a remote control from eBay the other day, which should hopefully arrive soon. So yeah, so that's the setup there. Empty box, not an empty box. So I've got a Mega Drive 1 there, as well as the Mega Drive 2. On the bottom here, I've got, you probably can't see very well, I've got an Atari 2600, a Commodore 64 in its box, a Master System 2 by the side, and then there should be a Spectrum, oops, a ZX Spectrum behind it. Yeah. So a ZX Spectrum plus 2 behind it. Now, unfortunately, none of these are what I owned growing up. I've had to buy them recently since lockdown, as I said. I'm just slowly building this collection up. I did have the ZX Spectrum Plus 2 as a child, but unfortunately the buttons on the tape recorder broke and used to swap them around, so the ones that weren't being used, so maybe the record button made that as the play button, but eventually so many broke that it just wasn't working anymore and it must have just got thrown away. However, and I'll get to them in a bit, most of the Spectrum games that I do have are my original collection from when I grew up. So if we start on the first shelf, I've managed to get to just over, as of last count, 100 Sega Mega Drive games. So along the top here, I've got the games that I have so far that have no instructions, or they don't have a case and instructions. So as I start getting in, the way that I'm working is buying job lots of games and things of what I need and stuff. So for example, if I get one that's got Streets of Rage with an instruction manual in it, I'll either swap it out completely or I'll replace the instruction manual in there depending on the quality of the box, etc. And then leave the other as duplicates. The one I'm disappointed about is Phantasy Star 2 at the moment. Good condition box, good condition cartridge. It's probably one of my favourite games of all time. I used to play it all the time as a child. Never managed to complete it because I think I hit a bug right at the last level. So one day I will finish that. The reason I'm disappointed is it's the most expensive game that I've paid out of all these. I think I paid £26 from CEX, ordered it online when I ordered the Mega Drive 1 in fact, so that one there, when I ordered that, I got the Phantasy Star 2 with it. The reason I'm disappointed is it's got no instruction booklet. I expected it to have an instruction booklet with it being ordered from CEX, so that was my first learning when I started here, that not all games at CEX have the instruction manual with them, and whether they've got them or not, it makes no difference to the price. Anyway, so as you can see, got a bunch. These are the games that I've sort of got at the moment. As you can see, they're obviously the easier ones to get right now, so the real cheap ones, all the EA Sports sort of titles, other sports titles. Paperboy there, not too bad. Other things, Mortal Kombat, it's a nice one there, really, it's good condition. Was happy with that one. All these, and that was the Premier Manager 97. So again, Road Rash 3, that's another nice one. And then yeah, so that's the whole collection that I've got of Mega Drive. If I just quickly pass over here, and I'll come back to the other shelves in a bit, this is where I've got some Genesis games as well, with a few Master System games at the back. So where I've been buying stuff that sort of come with other things, I've got a couple of Genesis games and a couple of Master System games. As I said, the main focus right now is Mega Drive, but I will be getting Genesis, Master System as well eventually, but yeah, I need to be a little bit prudent with what I'm spending right now. If we come down, there's just a few, nothing much here really of interest, but just like a few joysticks and pads and whatnot that also came as part of the sets I'm getting. I need to find out a better way of keeping these cleaner, because as you can see, dust has already gathered on there. So yeah, so that's that. If we move down here, I think these are Spectrum games, or are they Commodore 64 games? Actually, yeah. So they're these are the Commodore 64 games that I have at the moment. They all came with this. I bought it from eBay. Yeah, so it just came with all those. Not really sorted at the moment. It's not really my focus. If I see any good deals around where they've got job lots of Commodore 64 or Spectrum games, I'll sort of grab them. But yeah, not really my focus right now. If we sort of pan over again and just look at the floor for a second, a couple more pads there, which I've got. And then go all the way up here again. I've got like a spare Mega Drive 2 up there that just needs some cables for, and then I should get rid of that. And then I've managed to get a decent number of PS2 games pretty cheap. I think there's 102 in total. Unfortunately, as I said, I've not managed to play any yet. As you can see here, I have sort of took Spider-Man out because I would fancied having a go at that, but I can't get into AV mode on the TV, so I'm going to have to deal with that when the remote control arrives. The ones here, they're the duplicates from the PlayStation 2, so I'll see what to do with those later. And then these are here are what sort of things that came as something, you're not to sell them separately, so I'm not 100% sure what they came in yet. I've not really researched it. Got Gran Turismo 3, but that must have been either. Maybe it came with one of the PlayStation box sets. I honestly don't know. I've not researched it yet, but whenever I see something that seems like reasonably cheap, good deal, I'm just grabbing them at the moment because it's a bit scattergun right now, but I will focus down at some point so as not to be doing too many. Now, all across here, these are just duplicates. So I'm going to try and get rid of those at some point, see if I can get some more money in, and then allow other things. So if we go down into here, not a lot in here at the moment. A bunch of PlayStation games. These are my original PlayStation games. Some PC games as well. Spectrum games. So all those are what were mine originally. I'm not going to go into all these that are here, but from here down, there's like a mixture of PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One. Again, just stuff that was very cheap, and I just bought it just to have it for now. I just part of my collection to use. So then, talking about the Super Nintendo, this stuff here is mainly what is mine. So again, no idea what's happened. So got a Might and Magic 2 box, map, instruction booklet, but for the life of me, no idea where the game is. No idea what I did with it, which is unfortunate because I think Might and Magic goes for probably about £40 or £50 nowadays. But hopefully I can just grab the cartridge for a cheap enough price with the insert as well at some point, so that shouldn't be too bad. Same thing with Super Off-Road. Got nothing there. All I've got there is the actual box. But again, that's what I started with. The next two came with the Super Nintendo. Yes, I bought a Super Nintendo. I bought a job lot of Mega Drive Super Nintendos. I've already sold on the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drives, but that came with Super Tennis, Pilot Wings, so those two came from there. And then the rest again is, and then the Super Mario World, the instructions came from there as well. The rest is mine, so that controllers were mine. No correction, PGA Tour Golf also came with that job lot, and then the final two are mine, so Secret of the Mana and King Arthur's World, which is good. I used to love this game as a child as well. I was really into RPGs. Another funny story that I had when I first had the Super Nintendo, I borrowed The Legend of Zelda off a friend of mine after he'd had it for I think 3 months. Saved my game. Unfortunately, I wiped out his game that he'd been saving for 3 months because I saved over the top of his. Whoops! He wasn't too pleased, but he got over it. So yeah, so that's that there. And then if we just move along here, there's not really a lot here. It's just a load of extras that will go somewhere else at some point. So obviously these aren't part of my retro collection. Some more Match Attack stuff, a couple of full sets of Match Attacks that I'm just selling to get rid of. A few pads, cables and stuff. But then at the bottom, they're the Spectrum games that were mine as a child. So I have these. Let's see what we've got in here. Anything of interest. Oh yeah, so I've sort of put all these into sort of like sports ones. I was into the football games in the Spectrum. I must admit, I was into them more there than I'm here in the modern ones. I just can't get into the new FIFAs and stuff. I've tried. It's just, it seems less realistic, even though the gameplay is less realistic, even though the players are more realistic. I'm just fed up of having someone that's like 40 yards in front of a player, and that player then just catches me up before I can go 2 yards. It's just unrealistic. So another just random Mega Drive lying around. I'll probably sell that at some point. And then if we pan over here, PS4, that's mine. I got that with my phone. Not really using it at the moment, and it came with FIFA 20, I think. Yeah, that's Raheem, isn't it, on FIFA 20. So yeah. Then I've got a Nintendo 64, Mega Drive 2 box, which is for the Mega Drive that's down here, PS2 box for the PS2 that's down here also, and then the box for my Super Nintendo. So yeah, not really big, as I said. I'll just try and go outside and see if I can give a little bit of a better view, but we'll see. So yeah, not massive, not much I know compared to what other people have on here and have in the world, but it's a start, it's a beginning, and hopefully I can use this as just a way of cataloguing how I'm getting on, where I'm going, and just see the progress, and hopefully, who knows how long it's going to take, because I think, unless I'm completely wrong here, I think there are 600-ish games for the Mega Drive itself, which it is. For modern times, that's not really that many games, but some of them are a crazy price, and I'm trying not to pay more than £10 for a game right now, or have it cost me more than £10. The exception I've got is Phantasy Star 2, because that was the very first one that I bought when I decided I was going to start collecting. It's a game that I've always loved. I enjoy it a lot, so I made sure that I got that straight away. But the rest, on average, I've not paid more than £10, and certainly not for the FIFAs or the sports games, like £2, £3, £4, £5, whatever max for those, and then the rest are sort of like £10. So for example, the duplicates there, they're 35. I could have got like a lot of 40 that cost a few £100, where if you broke it down, it didn't go over more than £10 for each game. So yeah, so that's it for now. Hopefully some people found this of interest. Feel free to comment below. Let me know what you think. If you know of good places where to find Mega Drive, SNES, Master System, Nintendo Entertainment System, I'm going to be concentrating on those to begin with. Even Atari 2600. I'm still researching where I can find Atari 2600. For sure Commodore 64, and for sure ZX Spectrum Plus 2 or ZX Spectrums. Even Plus 3s with the discs. I'll eventually have a Plus 3 variant at some point. If anyone knows where to find these things reasonably priced, please feel free to comment below and let me know. I'll check them out and see where we go. Okay, until next time, thanks a lot.